Huzzah! There we go. Dope. Okay, everybody. You know how we start this. Roll call!
Kaya.
Ryan.
Mikey.
Isle.
And Steven! Welcome back, everybody. Oh no, why would you stop?
Redbot, no.
Fredbot,
You
no.
have one job.
It's not already
It's going
playing.
so well earlier.
Don't lie to my face right now, Fredbot.
Bad first impression, Fred.
Really bad. Alright, hold on. You stop what you're doing right now. Fred Butts. That is fucking dog shit. I'm so mad about that. It's crazy. It's just on this. It was working fine earlier.
Yeah, it was.
Well, I'm just playing it from my side of things now. I just clicked play on it. We'll see if it'll go on the second song, which is much longer. Get it together, Fredbot. You're embarrassing me in front of the players. And our audience. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to episode 31 of our Elemental Evils campaign, The Odd Jobs. Technically, this should probably be titled Boltsmelter's Book Part 2. In our last adventure with the Odd Jobs, our favorite adventuring party of Molemaster, they found themselves in a Pirates of the Caribbean-esque ship battle as the Cult of the Crushing Wave attacked the Indigo Wings, the vessel of Fergus Boltsmelter. After being alerted to some treachery from a crewmate on board his ship, Fergus threw said shipmate over, and the Cult of the Crushing Wave attacked with a number of cultists, a Dark Tide Knight, also known as the Octopus Knight, and an actual giant octopus who sieged the ship. The players in our party were overwhelmingly successful for the most part on it, while it was not an easy fight to be sure, as the giant octopus was ripping chunks of the hull out from the bottom of the ship and trying to abscond with Fergus through his captain's quarters. Through some good use of boots of spider walking, some incredible crits from multiple party members, and just overall badassery, the party was able to prevail, killing the giant octopus, hearing a final cry of vengeance from this octopus knight, before finally making a very narrow escape from the sinking ship. With a good use of Song of Creation, a perhaps slightly dislocated ankle, and some very lucky rolls, our very own Joe was saved from drowning in his scale mail armor by combined efforts of, led mostly by Freddy, and assistance from Jasper and Rory to keep him from drowning in the Bay of Molemaster, which would have been a terrible fate for our favorite halfling, at least in this campaign. Furthermore, as the party gathered themselves, they quickly left from the docks of Molemaster, noticing the lack of a city watch presence. While an entire attack had happened in the Bay of Molemaster, seemingly there didn't appear to be any witnesses, far less of a kerfuffle than one would expect in such a bustling city. The party made it back to Crewmeg's Oppic Tavern, where, given some room to speak in the cellar, the party got a new side of Fergus introduced to them. One who is very aware of the party's many secrets, from Jove's bond with Aquila to the identity of our very own Lapis Lap. With some choice words, a one-sided deal was struck between the party and Fergus, who needed to take the Elemental Codex, a dwarven tome, a mithril-browned book, said to have the ability to bind elementals into mundane weapons, among other elemental magics, from the Earthfast Mountains, a set of mountains south of Molemaster by a couple hundred miles. Fergus needed to deliver this codex to his potential buyer deep underneath the earth of Molemaster, where an elemental node, a place of great elemental power that our party has discovered in multiple places throughout the Moon Sea, with this new knowledge, the party begrudgingly came to an agreement to continue to escort Fergus, who seems to have an ability to rip the very thoughts from our party's minds, finding from Freddy, unwillingly, that there is indeed an entrance into the Underdark beneath Boltsmelter through the sewers. Our party having a very intimate knowledge of this from our early adventure in Foundness Beneath Boltsmelter. I believe that was our 4th module together. The party descended into the sewers of Boltsmelter, leading the way, following the tracks that their friend Zan had followed into the Underdark. As they got deeper and deeper, and the sewers turned more into caverns and opened up into the larger Underdark beneath the earth of the Forgotten Realms, the Codex began to rumble and sigh, beginning to attune and feel a pull towards this elemental node. The party entered into a large cavern with some sloped ledges on the side. With a very good, multiple very good perception checks, the party was able to see in this dimly lit cavern a number of heavily armored dwarves. One particularly in full breastplates, like the whole dwarven gear, very stocky, very geometric, as dwarven armor tends to be. A group of what appeared to be 6 dwarves, one of them bearing the holy symbol of Moradin on their chest and holding a crystal tied to a chain, began to follow deeper into the cavern, the crystal itself pointing directly towards Fergus. The party quickly dove behind some columns to try to evade this incoming party, with Jasper running to the sides with her increased mobility and feeling a cool shadow pass over her with I believe your stealth roll was like a 26. Feeling quite comfortable and hidden in the dark, this party of dwarves got closer and closer to the odd jobs, before finally passing between the columns, the group of them turning to the side, directly facing the area where Fergus is hiding next to, I believe, Jove and Freddy, with you, Rornak, being behind the other pillar. The dwarven woman, full beard, long hair tied in multiple braids, wielding what appears to be... Oh gosh, what is she wielding? Wielding a large greatsword that has the motifs of a hammer. It almost looks more like a bludgeoning weapon than it does an actual cutting weapon. She unsheaths this weapon and points it in the direction of Fergus and lets out, I believe, what I last said was... By my father's beard, I am called a pure fist, forged knight of the first anvil and leader of the hammers of Moradin. We will have what is rightfully ours, Fergus, you thieving bastard. And at that, we'll return. Can we start off by having everybody roll me either religion or history upon hearing this proclamation from Called a Pure Fist? And we're going to see if Fredbot can be real cool now.
Was that religion and history you said?
That is religion or history.
Gotcha. That's a 14 for religion for me.
14 religion for me.
Okay, everybody talked at the same time. Can I have that again?
23 history.
23 history, 13 history.
14 history.
14. Okay, for my friends who have rolled 14 on history. These are Earth-Vast Dwarves. What you know about the Earth-Vast Dwarves is that they believe their parents are heroes, so each of them each carries the name of their father or mother, following the word Mek, which means son or daughter. Typically, the dwarves cut off the heads and take them as trophies for enemies that they slay. You would also know, for those of you... Did everybody roll history? Did anybody roll religion?
I rolled 14 religion.
14 religion. You would know that the Hammers of Moradin are a military order dedicated to the dwarven god Moradin, and that the Hammers often act outside the regular dwarven army, going on special missions for the clan lords, and that those that carry hammers often throw them, including their war hammers. for my super high history, you would also know that in Earthfast, silence is a virtue. The dwarves value order and honor above anything else. And that historically, some hammers of Moradin can throw their war hammers and have them returned to them and gain other earth-related magic from the worship of the creator of the dwarven race, which is, of course, Muradin. So, there you go. There's your history and religion. Now, we'll return back to the party with this newfound knowledge. I've also placed in the general the music that I've chosen for this one, the RPG Ambience Fantasy number 3, Into the Depths of the Dungeon. 2 hours of fun music there. So if you would like to listen along, since Fredbot is embarrassing me in front of my players, we'll return back to it. As you see this group of dwarves, all of them looking battle ready, wearing various sets of armor, carrying war hammers and small other bits. You can see each one in some part of their armor does have the holy symbol of Muradin, which is a hammer and forge symbol emblazoned somewhere on them, whether it be a shield or a chest plate. You can see one has what appears to be a big tattoo along the neck. Right in kind of like the soft esophageal part has that symbol tattooed straight onto their neck there. As Calda kind of calls out to Fergus, he says, "Oh, no, I'm a lot of thieves, but I'm not a thief. I definitely did not steal the codex from you, Calda. There's no need to be so, brash." And you can see at the use of the first name, Calda, like, visibly bristles at Fergus's words. "All right, the rest of you might as well come out here. We're not interested in whatever you got curled up with this bastard here. We just want him and the codex. So if you got any honor amongst you, you'll walk on out and we can lay it flat and true."
Okay.
Well,
She is speaking in common, I will say.
Hi.
yeah, I guess if she sees Fergus, then definitely sees Freddy and.
Well, she
and
sensed
myself.
Fergus.
Oh,
But yeah, I
okay.
came out. I definitely came out.
Well, what makes this codex yours? Hammers of Moradin.
Is Dom muted?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't hear anything. Okay, I thought it was me. So.
No.
Yeah, I was like, I think my headphones busted because I can't hear anybody talking about anything. And then I unplugged it and I heard Kyle talking.
Well, it turns out they don't actually know. You got them there, Joe. When you put it like that.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just be on our way.
I'm just gonna rifle through your pockets real quick while you're just standing there.
Good talk. We have the codex. We're just gonna.
There we go.
Hello.
There he is.
Hi.
I know you said they were the silent type, Dom, but.
You are. Oh.
Twitch. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, if you were talking back there, we didn't hear you on Discord though.
Take care of your audio. When you told us to reveal ourselves.
And I did.
That's okay.
Okay, I think I can see myself going on Twitch now. Okay, I
Yeah,
believe.
you're going on Twitch.
Perfect. So, the last thing we were talking about was to reveal yourselves. Freddy, you reveal yourself. Jove, you also reveal yourself. I believe, correct?
Yeah, I'll walk out with Freddy, but I'll let Freddy.
Fergus also joins you as well, still holding on to the codex. Rornak, what do you do in this moment as you see your party members kind of coming out from behind the column, facing this group of Hammers of Muradin?
I shoot my gun.
That's a pocket rocket.
Yeah. I equip my weapon.
Oh, that's a gun.
I throw a bomb.
Fortnite, it's gonna be good night.
Close the door.
Go get your son. Okay. Enough meme talk. Rornak, what are you doing in this situation?
In this situation, Rordak is going to hang back for the time being behind the pillar, and I don't know if I'm actually near where Jasper is, but he would kind of give a look over and see if she thinks that it's good for both of them to go
You
out
don't
or stay.
actually know where I went.
Yes. I need you to roll me one stealth check and roll me a perception check with disadvantage to see if you can spot Jasper.
So you said stealth and then
Stealth and then perception at disad.
Okay.
I hope you guys are playing the music behind this one because I'm very happy with this track.
Oh, it's very good.
That's some good rolls. That was 21 stealth and an 18 perception, even with the disadvantage.
An 18 perception does not. You know the general idea. You know where Jasper ran off to, but looking on it, it's just pure blank dark rock. You have no idea where she's at. However, you do kind of shimmy yourself behind the column some more, and you've got the column in between you and these dwarves right now. While you can still hear everything just fine, with that good stealth roll, you feel pretty confident that they haven't noticed you.
Sure.
Jasper, you are watching this. You have pretty good eyesight on all of this. You can see the rest of your party going out. Do you still stay hidden?
That's such a tough choice.
Just shout ninja dust and run it.
Smokescreen!
Honor is not a word that means a lot to Jasper, even though it means a lot to me. So she's gonna stay put. Like full gone in the bushes, like her eyes are glazed over and she's just perfectly still.
You feel stillness that is only matched by the rock itself. As we return back, Freddy, Calder's eyes meet yours first, as said you're the first one out. Ah, good. At least some of you have some honor to reveal yourselves, unlike this bastard. Pointedly glares over at Fergus.
Me and my friend here were kind of just hanging out with Fergus, and he was like, "Hey, we need to go to the Underdark." And I was like, "Hey, I think I know a way to the Underdark. If you want to follow me." And then he did, and now we're here. What's this about the Codex not being his?
The Codex belongs to my father, Aster McHaster, the patriarch of the Earth's vast dwarves.
Or he noticeably laughs when she says his name.
Noted.
I was gonna do it, but I wasn't sure if my mic was gonna pick it up.
Fergus came to us a few months back asking to study and to take the Codex with him, which my father declined. Oh, hey there, Calder. That's not true even a little bit. I asked him straightforward enough, and he gifted it to me. I was planning on returning it eventually. I don't want to hear anything from you. You've been a coward since the last time I saw you, and it doesn't matter. 40 years later, you're still a coward.
Just real quick, do y'all mind if I cast some comprehend languages just in case things turn to Dwarvic. I wanna know what's going on. I just don't want to surprise you by taking out my magic stuff right now.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Am I aided by the fact that it's the truth?
It's just roll me flat.
It's not a deception check.
It's true. 15.
15? 15's exactly what you needed. That's fine. It'll give us a chance to talk. And also, Fergus, we have you now. You can go ahead and run, but don't think that those legs will carry you farther than I can find you. And you just kind of see Fergus scoff, kind of, all right, Galdo, whatever you say. And it's kind of this kind of quiet tenseness in the air. Go ahead. Let me have Jove and Freddy roll me insight.
I take out my my staff of charming and do this big performance, waving in the air like I'm casting some big spell. Just to really lighten the mood.
Give me a performance
15
check.
insight.
15 insight.
14 insight.
14 insight.
Oh, so close. 12 performance.
12
I almost got a
performance.
25.
Yeah, they don't seem particularly amused by this. However, their focus isn't particularly on you. It is on the Codex and Fergus. With your 14 and 15 insight, Freddy, you know people pretty well. And you know that there's definitely a history between Calda and Fergus, more than just him being a thief. I'll say, Jove, you're the one that puts it together. You've heard Calda's name before. And it goes along with a certain story about Roper P and some hairspray. As this kind of clicks together for you, you watch the kind of that tension people who used to be in love together have. You know, when things end messily. And while there just does appear to be a slight attraction there, when love turns, it turns into hate. And it becomes very clear to you between their interactions. While Calda is trying to focus on the Codex, her eyes do snap back to Fergus, back and forth. It's quiet. The dwarves simply wait, standing at attention, keeping an eye on Fergus, occasionally looking over to you, Freddy. It's a quiet 10 minutes in here. As you see Freddy kind of waving and, you know, for you guys just being exactly as Freddy always is. However, this audience does not appear to find it nearly as amusing. 10 minutes go by, and finally Freddy, your magic goes through and you have comprehend languages.
Staff of charming, that's instant.
Oh, Staff of Charming is instant. Okay, well then, there's a moment of tenseness and then you do have comprehend languages on. You got your spell taken care of then? She says
yeah.
in Dwarvish.
Yeah.
Good. So, what is it going to take for you to hand him over to us? Do you have the honor to do what's right, or are you sellswords? I'm willing to pay for this to make sure we get that codex back, so that whatever's happening down there doesn't get even worse. You must already feel that despair, that crushing elemental magic seeping through this place, and she spits.
So wait, how did you get the codex then if you didn't take it from them?
Oh, well, you know, clearly I had to take it from them. It's not like it just poofed along with me. Let's be honest here.
You did take it then.
Well, yeah, by the very act of having it means I had to take it. That's not a really good argument to begin with. Whose side are you on here?
I thought that maybe you were gonna try and say that he actually gave it to you and that he didn't say no to you, but I guess you're not even gonna try to do that. Well then why would I defend you? Like what are they gonna do with the book that you're not?
Oh, I just need to get into a little bit deeper into here to find my contact, and then they can have it back. I don't really care. I just need to get paid.
You have a contact in the underdog?
Somebody that's supposed to meet me there, yeah. I've been looking for the whole thing. Why do you think I asked you to show me the way? If I already knew how to get there, I would have just gone.
Yeah.
Well, I think that sounds like a amicable solution. What do you say, Calda, for old time's sake? And he'll give a wink to Calda. How about you help an old flame get what he needs done, and then maybe you can walk out with the book. I don't see how that could be any harm. You said yourself you smell the stench of elemental shit down here, and that's
We can do a win-win. We can
Exactly.
we can all group up and take the book down to whoever his contact is, and then ambush them, get the book back for you. He gets his job done, gets his pay or whatever, and you get your book back. And we figured out who hired him to do this, so that we can, have that information.
Go ahead. I'm going to have, with Freddy's help, Jove, roll persuasion with advantage.
Sure, I can't roll persuasion.
I'm going to have Jove do this one. He led the charge.
Ooh, well, your help definitely helped. I got 18 persuasion.
18. Calder looks to you all and looks back at Fergus. Give me a minute to speak with my fellow hammers, but I think that we can indeed make something happen here. You see, she kind of groups up and there's in this kind of really low, old dwarvish. You do pick up kind of bits and pieces of it. It's not that it's hard to understand what's being said. It's a combination of kind of Holy Morden like texts, not quite slang. It's kind of like going into old English, and it's just very quiet. But you do pick up a bit of a back and forth. Freddie and Jove, since you understand Dwarvish. The rest of you guys, it just sounds like Dwarvish, just kind of loud, echoey whispers back and forth. You pick up that there's some contention here and there. There's a good chunk of them that would be very happy just nixing Fergus here and just taking his head back with the codex. But honor does win out, and Calder returns. All right, I've spoken with the other hammers. Your terms are amicable. We will help Fergus get to his employer, get whatever he needs, crush whatever foul magic is down here. And then we will return with the Codex back to Earthfast. And if you're lucky, Fergus, we won't leave you without a body when we return back. And you kind of see Fergus goes a little pale as it kind of looks in, and there's just nothing but pure, unmitigated, honest intent. And that one from Calda. Yeah, all right, that sounds like it's a pretty good idea. As Fergus kind of cows to her presence in this moment. Could I have everybody roll me a perception check?
Ooh, nat 20.
Nat 20.
Want to just take the 9?
Take the 9.
How does a 0 sound?
It's alright. I think
Right.
my passive as well. My passive's 11.
The lap's always bringing it in for the the perception check.
Which abilities? Perception.
Perception,
That's
please.
safe.
Listen, when you're
Yep.
a noble, you don't have to look out for yourself.
No.
You got people to do that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are just hyper focused on this one. Calda holds out a hand to you, Freddy, to shake on it.
Shake on it, shake on it.
It's a passive 12. For
Passive
everyone,
12. Okie
yeah.
dokie. Yeah, you are.
I'm gonna give her a shake and then act like I'm going for some secret mole master shake that everybody should know. And then she doesn't do it.
No, just this absolute deadpan. You're looking even for a crack of oh, did I catch her off guard? And it's just it's like shaking hands with a stone. Just real rigid, just However, when she squeezes, you are very aware of the strength that this woman possesses, as you can feel the creaking of your healed but still freshly healed fingers as they kind of creak in place She lets go and puts out another hand towards you, Jove.
He'll grab it tight and say, "Well, sounds like your focus trying to lock this kind of thing away. So it sounds like we're on the same side. I'm glad it didn't have to come to blows."
There's always a way for honor to pave the way forward by the good grace of Murden. Plus, there's been a hindrance getting here. Been dealing with a cult of sorts. Cult of the crushing earth. Or the black earth, sorry. It's a dumb mistake right there. Cult of the black earth. We would have found him faster, but they've gathered around Mole Master.
Well, we've ran into that cult ourselves once or twice, so we know they can be formidable.
They made us kill innocent badges, and they won't live it down.
I'm surprised you haven't run into them already. I figured with him staying in one spot for so long, that others would be attracted to the Codex. Have you run into any other of this Black Earth yet?
No, just their badger cronies.
Then perhaps fortune smiles on us. Jove, it's at this point that your nat 20 kicks in. Or your unnatural 20 for perception.
It was a nat 20. Yeah.
Oh, it was a nat 20. So with your nat
Yeah.
20, you hear a... It sounds almost like, for us as people who live in Earth, it almost sounds like a small drill going by. And you almost miss it through kind of the echoing of your voices through this cavern. They really kind of carry and echo through here. The acoustics are great. And you hear just ever so as a little bit of earth and dust falls from the ceiling. And you have just enough time to look up and not get caught by a sneak attack. As from the ceiling, you see two hooks carve out this large opening. As dust and stone begins to fall on top of you, there's a sound of low growling and chilling of a dropping from the ceiling. You see a bulbous, not quite avian in nature. While it does have a beak and its features do resemble almost that of a large, fleshy, featherless bird, the big difference is not only its size, but these huge, sharp-looking hooks that cleave through the earth as it begins to drop down on you, followed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 individuals as they drop from the ceiling, and you hear just the cry of Ogramok! Can I have all you guys roll initiative?
Well,
I know it doesn't matter, but at this point, he would have, with his reaction, cast Thaumaturgy and yelled, like, watch out, to really, so everybody should know.
That is what is going to save this from being a sneak attack round.
Beautiful.
So yes, let's get some initiative rolling.
My lowest initiative in a while.
I I'm gonna repost this map down here real fast. 11, 17, 13, 12. Okay. Switch over. Decent, Matt, decent, Matt,
Rounding
decent.
out the tens right now, you know.
Mad decent, yo.
The definition of
go.
decent here.
The Hammers of Morden to set the stage. Let's first get initiative run, because there's a lot of combatants in this bad boy.
Sure are.
Yes, there are indeed. This is round 1. Need to keep track of that. So, it's gonna go... Freddy, what's your dexterity?
+2.
+2? Roll me a d20.
Yeah. 16.
Oh, roll me a d20 again.
Jesus. 13.
All right. Good to know. Ready? 4. Call 1. Call 2. And then you guys are so nice and neat. It makes it easy. Cheers. 2, 4, 3, 4, 5. And then we'll put the dwarf. We'll put a dwarf. Then dwarfs. Oh, Fergus. How could I forget? Oh, okay.
That's what the F word means to me now. Oh,
Fergus.
Ah, Fergus. Okay, to set the stage as initiative begins, you guys, Rornak, you are still behind that pillar, hidden. Jasper, you're over on, if we're looking at the map, we're going to say the right side. You're on that 5-foot ledge right there. By this pillar, having kind of a good sight of the backs of these dwarves, the front of your party, and a perfect sight of these cultists falling from the ceiling, as they all land with the thump 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 thump, like the sound of 10 pillars of rocks all hitting the ground simultaneously. You see that there is what appears to be about 10 of these cultists, led by this large hooked horror. The hooked horror lands squarely in between you and Calda, Jove, with you guys having enough to kind of push each other back and make space. You see that the rest of these cultists line 5 behind our party and 5 behind the dwarfs in this kind of opening frenzied melee as the dwarves begin to engage with these cultists, as you are now feel kind of the presence of these 5 behind you, with the hooked horror and Joe being kind of the center in between these columns. Does everybody have kind of a good view of what's going on here? There are 6 dwarves, Calda, the priestly looking one, and a number of other hammers of Morden. There is Fergus, Jove, Freddy, and of course Rornak over behind that other column, and then you know where you're at, Jasper. At the start of initiative is actually Fergus. He won the initiative. So Fergus is going to do what Fergus does best in this situation. He's going to fucking hide. So
Joestar family secret. Let's go.
oof. That's not great. He runs behind that column, and he rolls an 8 for stealth. So that is what...
Feel stealthy.
He does not feel great about it, but he now has... He is... you can see him very well, since he is behind that column, away from the fighting. So he's going to use his action to try to hide behind there. Jasper, you can see this bitch. You're pretty sure everybody can see this bitch.
he's kind of just squatting there going, "Ooh, sneaky, sneaky."
Just really the old, like, he's not even hiding the codex well across his dwarven body. You can see...
Bringing shame to thieves everywhere right now.
Oh, that was a close one, wasn't it?
Okay. Then, after Fergus is Frederick.
That's me.
I can't believe we have a Fred bot.
Fred.
For music.
Fred bot.
I like our Freddy. He's my favorite.
Our Freddy's okay.
Our Freddy at least plays the music when asked.
Never the kind of music you're hoping for, though.
Yeah, at least it's consistent.
I'm going to... I'm gonna wrap around, like, behind the pillar that Fergus is not behind, and cast a... Actually, are any of them next to any of my teammates right now?
You can see that they are not right up against it. They've dropped down. There's probably about 5 feet between any of them, including, like, one that's, just out of range from you. They've kind of lined up, cutting off the entrance where you guys came in from, and then another line of 5 of them behind the dwarves. They've got you guys kind of sandwiched here. So you can definitely sneak through. You could get to the column that Rornak is behind. So they're not in your melee range immediately, but they are only 5-10 feet away.
I'm just wondering if they're in any of my allies' melee range.
Not yet. The only one that is in range would be the hooked horror in between Jove and Calda right now. That is right up against our favorite halfling.
But he is in melee range. I'm thinking about Dissonant Whispers.
He is he is right next to Jove and Calda, so he is definitely with it. Like, he is ready to take some swipes.
Okay, then let's use Dissonant Whispers on him.
All right, that
Wisdom save.
is a wisdom save indeed. Yo, hooked horror, where's your fucking shit? I'm looking for your stats. I bet your wisdom save's real good.
Yeah, probably.
That's an 11.
Finally worked. Okay. He takes a good damage.
Ooh.
10 psychic,
10 psychic.
and
Solid.
uses his movement to move away from me.
He begins to burrow beneath the earth. Jove, you may make an attack of opportunity.
Sure thing. I'll have that electrum spear at the ready, and we'll do so.
And Calda is going to do the same exact thing. You guys are going to work in
the
tandem.
Electrum. She has Electrum too.
Wow.
I only got an 11.
Only got an 11 on the hooked horror. That's not going to do it. You strike this thing, and its hide is incredibly thick. You can't seem to pierce through it as it begins to dive down. Calda is going to make an attack against it. Cool. I've never gotten to use this stat block before. And it's great sword, this. Oh, yeah, baby. That's an 18. Calda slashes into this. She does 2d6 of slashing damage with her great sword. All right, that's not great. It's only 8. As she takes a swipe at this thing as it burrows its full speed below the earth and out of sight. Moving as far away from you as possible, Freddy. Straight down.
Yay.
Oh, this music. Excellent.
Oh, that's very good.
All right. Freddy, you still have your movement. As you play a dissonant chord that whispers into the mind of this hooked horror, causing it to leave in a frenzied fear. Straight down. Make this awful as it goes down beneath the earth.
I'm going to kind of go to the side past where Rory is, so that in order to get to me, they'd have to run past him.
You do, absolutely. You run around and Rory, you see Freddy gets right up behind you, placing yourself in front of him and the cultist behind you. Okie dokie. Solid move. Great opening move. It is now the hooked horror's turn. It's going to climb right back up. And it's climbing right back up, and it's going to take one swipe at Calda and one swipe at you, Jove.
Fucking do it.
Jove, that is going to be a 24.
That certainly hits.
And against Calda, that's going to be a 17. Does that hit Calda? Ooh, it does not. With her plate armor, it scratches off the front of it. However, you, Jove, are going to take some damage as you are hit with a hook. Ooh, man, this thing's got reach. That's going to be 2d6. Double twos. For 8 piercing damage, Jove. As it comes up and you see both of these hooks breach out from the earth and swipe down on both sides. Calda's armor is able to take the brunt of it. You can see it make this awful scratching noise as it shrieks across the front of her breastplate. Your armor, however, is not as thick as it pierces into you. And you can feel it rip part of your chest as it pulls and gets itself out from underneath the earth again. You can see it's got these dull, milky white eyes that just have a bit of green to them. That same kind of pulsating madness that you see from creatures the cult of the Black Earth as it comes back out. It makes this awful kind of clicking noise. You can see that its head turns side to side, these kind of large, almost bat-like openings on the side of its head as it like clicks and screeches, and its head moves as it kind of hears the reverberations from the cave bounce back to it. That's going to be its turn. Then it is Kolda and her priest. The priest goes to engage with one of the cultists, and you see makes a swipe, and there is kind of this charge of bright lights, this kind of piercing reddish orange glow that fills the cavern with this warmth for just a second, as if somebody has opened up a forge in here, and you see strikes down against this cultist with like the sound of a hammer blow and the singe of flame as he is going to pump a spell slot to smite this fucker. And that... yeah, that'll do. As he strikes one of these cultists with a heavy blow. Kolda is going to bring back her greatsword and attempt to make 2 swipes on this hooked horror. That's a negative to both. She slashes at this one, but this time it's ready for her. It turns its whole body as she like picks up and hears the clinking of her armor and brings it down for 2 strikes, placing its kind of hooks in front of it. It's like watching blade on blade as it scratches off each one, not being able to purchase into this creature. Then is going to be 2 of the cultists. They see you, Freddy, run over to Rornak, and they're both going to try to get through there. However, there's a Rornak in front of there. So, Rornak, to get to Freddy, they're going to try to get through you first. You can see that they appear to be holding these kind of earthen clubs. Almost looks more like broken stalactites that have been now furnished into like a club of sorts. As they're going to make 2 attacks against you.
Wasn't he hidden? I thought he was hidden.
Well, if they're gonna run to follow you and then turn around the corner, he's right there. Yeah, you chose to run around, so if they're gonna go try to find you behind that pillar and you're hiding right behind Rornak, they might not have seen him, but they're not blind. That is going to be a 16 and a 16.
Double 16s do not hit.
Ooh, as you've seen them bring in for these kind of club strikes. They're powerful, but they're slow. Clearly slower than you are, and you're easily able to dodge both of their strikes. All right, then it is Jasper's turn.
Let's see. I think she is going... She's still stealthed right now, so she could probably get a sneak attack on the hooked horror, right? With a throwing dagger.
You could.
Does that proc advantage or?
In this case, it does have 2 of your allies by it. I would say it won't give you advantage, but you will definitely get sneak attack.
Okay. I just don't want to crit fail and hit someone.
Is she hidden?
Yeah.
Right now, from the hooked horror?
Yeah.
How far away are you from it? Let's see. You are 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 feet from it.
Oh, I would have to get closer.
From it, currently? No, she is not hidden from this hooked horror. Although you wouldn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would not know that.
It's out of my normal range for throwing daggers. So, she's gonna run a little bit along the wall northwards and drop on down to the ground and stand behind Jove. I think, to keep him from getting flanked. And kind of face the cultists that have the party flanked. And if there's no one within melee range, she'll hold her action and attack the first one that does enter her range.
Yeah, you, with your movement, you have enough. You could definitely get to one of these cultists, the one that's directly behind Jove, and move back with your full movement. Since you have the mobile feat. Okay.
Yeah.
You hold behind Jove.
Okay. And make that attack, assuming there's one there.
Who are you making the attack against?
Assuming there's one within my range. If not, then I'll...
Yeah, absolutely. With your superior movement speed, the 3 other cultists that have yet to attack, they're all within your range from where you're at. And they do not know you're there. Yeah.
I was talking about just melee range from that position. But
right behind Jove?
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and take a swipe and then move.
Go for it.
That is a 17 with the battle axe.
A 17 will hit.
And I...
You do get sneak attack. They were unaware that you were there.
Dope. Oh, nice. That's gonna be 14 slashing.
14 slashing. Yeah, absolutely. How do you want to do this?
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, she's gonna, like, be running along the wall as she unsheathes her axe and pulls out her shield and just kind of, like, leaping off the wall. It gets just this really nice, like, slash with momentum across, like, their throat and just nearly decapitates them.
Absolutely. The little bit of flesh. They're basically nearly headless, Nick. There's just a little bit of the skin holding on to left side and opens up like a Pez dispenser.
And with her momentum, she kind of spins around and gets in position behind Jove.
Absolutely. Yeah, Jove. 1 second you are dealing with this hooked horror, pulling its hook out of you. Next, you hear the sound of blood dropping in a huge amount onto the floor behind you, and you feel the familiar presence of Jasper leaned up against you back to back. Speaking of Jove, it's your turn.
Beautiful. He is going to take a low position and obscure himself with his shield for a second. And as he does that, he is going to use his bonus action to cast Aquila right next to him, kind of hiding her.
I cast Aquila.
Well, summon forth.
I love it.
I cast Aquila.
I
right
praise
next
Aquila. Face down.
You've activated my trap card, cultists. Activate Aquila!
She's essentially Pharaoh, but anyways, will Aquila appears next to him in a flash of lightning, and with the Electrum Spear, he will flare his shield forward and take a nice thrust at the hooked horror, staying back to back with Jasper.
I play Orange Eyes Blue Dragon.
Pretty much. Ooh, there we go. That is going to be for a 22.
A 22 against the hooked horror?
Against the hooked horror, yes.
Indeed, a 22 will do.
And then I am going to use Aquila's reaction to give me the plus d6, and then I'm going to use one of my 2 favored foes to add the d4 onto this. So I'm concentrating on this. So we have. I'm going to use my Piercer feat to reroll one of my die here. Nice. Turned a 1 into a 6.
Love to see it.
Ooh, I rolled almost max here. Okay, so we've got 5 lightning, 14 piercing for 19 total.
Absolutely. You can see this as you like pierce through, and you get a little bit of that lightning. You can see its whole body twists in agony as the electricity with the piercing damage from it causes its whole body to tense up for a second before you pull back your spear. It regains control of its muscles once more.
And on Akila's turn, she takes the dodge action, and they are going to kind of shell up again. So very much a Spartan-esque. Pushes out with a shield, gets that lightning strike with the pierce, and then back into the defensive position. And
Yeah.
will stay there back to back with Jasper.
Yep, it's back to back to back Aquila, Jasper, Jove, all in kind of the same 2 5-foot square spaces. Turtled up. Can't flank what's already flanking. Okie dokie. After Jove is Rornak.
Great. Well, I've got a cultist in front of me now, so...
You've got 2 cultists in front of you.
I do indeed. So Rornak will
welcome.
pull out... I appreciate it. I will pull out my staff here, and we are going to make a strike on one of them. That's a crit fail.
Ooh, roll me damage.
That's a 7 bludgeoning.
Freddy, you take 7 points of bludgeoning damage.
Sorry.
As you whip out this staff, and you go for like a big round strike to try to hit both of them. Freddy, you see him do this kind of big, like almost limbo spin, and it's impressive, except for the wooden stick that follows it, which catches you right in the jaw. Pah!
Baba.
Sorry about that one, friend.
I can't believe I have to fight off 3 people right now.
You business. Okay, well, you didn't roll the
True
crit fail.
nature.
You didn't roll the crit fail. I'm sorry. That is my fault.
At least we're consistent with the crit fails, shall we? You know, the one crit fail that Jasper threw that almost hit him with the throwing axe, you caught. This time, it's like, well, nobody can catch this one.
You just transferred it to the future.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be, because I think that's exactly how much damage you would have done last time.
Oh, I caught it. I just caught these hands.
You caught it with your mouth.
That was not intended. God forbid, I am still gonna use Flurry of Blows with my bonus. So let's try not to roll any more crit fails.
God, give me more. You roll another crit fail, you throw up on yourself.
Feel it in the air.
It's a 19 and a 13. No crit fail.
Okay, both will hit.
And again, we did decide that I can add my dex modifier for that, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. You're a monk. That's what they do.
Okay. So, altogether, that's a 9 and an 8 on both strikes, so that's 17 total bludgeoning damage.
And are you splitting this up, or are you putting it all on one guy?
I'm putting it all on one.
All right, how do you want to do this on the one?
Ooh. So yeah, as Rornak intended it, with that first strike, he was going for like a big swipe, kind of trying to stun him. It goes and flies back, unfortunately hitting our friend, but still kind of swing his way back from the momentum. He does kind of like a jumping kick. It's almost like a jumping like axe, like crane kick basically, and it's just one strike on the way up and then completely buckling down with the heel heading back down and just straight on top of the dome.
Absolutely, Hira. As their skull breaks and the neck breaks with it. It's kind of like when you hold a chicken upside down and then you hit it with a hammer. It just bleeds out that way. It's a brutal but effective way to kill something. And Rornak, this man is your chicken. That's another one down. Got it.
All right. That's all for Rornak.
All right. Then it is the dwarves and some of their cultists as they are going to engage. You see some of the dwarves wielding different war hammers. Place them up. One throws it. Ooh! throws this warhammer, and you see it strike one of these cultists straight in the face. It just shatters there. It actually sticks in. It is like embedded into the skull of this cultist. However, this individual does run over and pulls the warhammer out of this cultist. However, these cultists are not letting that lay down as two descend on this dwarf, and you see, let's see how they do. It's weird nat 20 on yourself. Returns. These two get up behind him, and you see them bring these clubs down, and it goes from like a 1-2 to just an absolute barbaric display of earthen power as they just get on top of this dwarf and start beating him down over and over and over. You can hear the sounds of their metal bending as they crush in this dwarf. The warhammer just outside of their reach as it falls from their grasp. So that's going to take one dwarf off. All right. As the other dwarves move to engage. Yep, they do. Oh, that's a miss, and that's a hit. You see that they are engaged with all these cultists. Their cultists down 1, these dwarves down 1. As the other, actually down 2. As these other cultists and dwarves engage in this kind of brutal, blunt melee. However, as you hear these dwarves take these blows, the sound of club on metal, the sound of warhammer on flesh, the dwarves do not make any big noises. Even the one that was getting bludgeoned to death in front of you, they are nearly silent as this one. There are no war cries. There's no "for the glory of Muradin." They fight so quietly compared to all the other dwarves you guys have seen fight, who are usually very loud and boisterous, minus the stone dwarf, of course. However, that is their turns. We're back up to the top. Ooh, actually, I've got 2 more cultists down here at the bottom. One is going to go over and engage with you, Jasper. The other one's going after Fergus. The one against you, Jasper, that's a 21 to hit.
Oh, yeah, that would do it.
Oh, that is only going to be 3 points of bludgeoning damage. As you kind of get back to back with Jove, another one of these cultists steps into the empty space that is now nearly decapitated friend is and strikes you, and you catch just kind of the top of it onto a shoulder and with a heavy thud. He goes after this one, is running after Fergus, definitely finds him with only that 8 in hiding, and yeah, that'll do. You hear a oh! The only dwarf to make any noise in this battle, coming from the column as this cultist strikes Fergus. That's 5 points of bludgeoning there on Fergus. All right, now to Fergus, who is going to disengage from this dude, run around the sides, and he's going to try to fucking run past this like a little bitch. He runs up towards that ledge that you were on, Jasper, hops up there, moves the rest of his 20 feet of movement down this cavern, putting some distance between himself and the fighting, still clutching onto this elemental codex. It is now Freddy's turn.
I'm just going to say, "Hey, Ronek, you got it, man." And I'm going to shoot a firebolt at the remaining cultists that's around us.
Absolutely, go for it.
Is it 13?
A 13 does hit.
It is 9 fire damage.
9? How do you want to do this?
Oh, shit!
Yay!
I think it's the firebolt just like comes out even stronger than it normally. Like I started to get used to it, but it came out a little bit stronger, and I think it's because I'm kind of following along the path that he what was his name? I totally forgot his name.
Zanzan?
Zanzan. I was gonna say Jam Jam, but that's not his name.
Jam. I love that.
That is in canon how Freddy remembers it.
About the Jam Jam.
Where's your jam,
so-
bud?
I just kind of feel a connection to him, so the magic comes easier, and I shoot the firebolt with some extra oomph in it, and it just hits this dude just right in the chest.
And
Kind of pushes him back and knocks him to the ground.
you can see it char and turn what was once flesh and stone into just blackened earth more than anything else. You can see that there's almost this kind of dust that clings to these cultists, as if their whole bodies are constantly like, imagine the mudmen from fucking the Renaissance Fair, just like they're constantly caked in it. And you can see little bits of, you smell that kind of burned earth that comes with it as it and blackens through the chest of this individual, their heart frying inside of their chest cavity as they drop to the ground backwards dead.
Damn, man.
Alright, that's another cultist. Got it. Alright, Freddy, what else you got for me?
That's a good question. I think nothing. I think I'm just going to position myself. Can you just give me a lay so I can see where everybody is?
Yeah, absolutely. Going out, so you're behind that column with Rornak in front of you. If you go around Rornak, you'll see a cultist engaged with Jasper, with her back to Freddy and Aquila, who are in front of this giant hooked horror. On the opposite side, you're not entirely sure where Fergus has gone and kind of his run. On the opposite side, you can see Calda Purefist engaged with the hooked horror on the other side. You can see two cultists bludgeoning this other dwarf to death. The priest pulling back their kind of staff of power from this kind of cultist that he's currently engaged with. And you can see that that's one dead, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see that there are two other dwarves engaged with cultists right now as well.
Okay. I'm gonna move towards Jasper, but not get too close yet.
Yeah, you move that way past Rornak, and you can see just like the full size of this large monstrosity with its kind of pale eyes. As you walk through, you can see that its ears kind of clip towards you as it hears your walk over towards Jasper, but it is not in melee range of you. And you have about 10 feet of distance between you and this cultist / Jasper. Yeah.
What I will do is have an actual Johnny, something that I don't use too often, but I'm gonna have him jump off of me after I get in position, and kind of run over to the feet of Jasper.
Absolutely. He's a tiny creature, so he's able to share that spot, no problem.
Yeah.
Jasper, there's a Johnny on your foot.
All right.
Not floating around you. This is the real deal. This is the real Johnny.
Yeah, like, hops up, gets on your foot, slicks the hair back, finger guns up at you, like, holds on to one of the laces of your boots, like, one hand style, like riding a rodeo, gets the other hand up. You gotta go 3.7 seconds. Ride! Speaking of riding, with that in, it is now the Hooked Horror's turn, as it is going to make an attack against Cald and an attack against Jove. Would you believe? Oh gosh, have I not? No. We're good. We're good. I was gonna be so mad at myself. I can't take it easy on you guys. Against Jove, that is only a 10. Against Calda, that is a 24.
Yeah, Jove's defensive position with the shield up easily blocks the hook this time.
Yeah. Ooh, that's max
One-man
damage.
phalanx.
Oh,
As Calda takes 16 points of piercing damage.
Oof.
Ouchie.
Yeah, she takes 16. This time, the hooked horror finds its purchase, gets right up underneath like the armpits where the armor is thinnest, and you hear piercing through. And Jove, you can see kind of the blood leaking from Calda. She makes one single kind of And that's it. No other noise as she kind of pulls the blade out from under her arm and readies her greatsword again to make an attack, which it is her turn. So she's gonna make 2 strikes. Okay, Calda, she was fucking mad. Both of those are gonna hit. All right. Whew, damn, girl. She's gonna do 26 points of slashing damage to this.
Damn.
As you see her pull out the hook from underneath her armpit, just slick with blood, making a single grunt as she does. She then grabs her greatsword with both hands, and just instead of it really does almost look like she is bludgeoning this creature. Her sword doesn't even look like it should be all that sharp. It's this absolutely monstrous, almost like if you took like a sledgehammer and you used the hammer part of it to make the pommel, like the hilt of it, and then just threw a big hunk of metal on the top of it, and just boof, boof, as she draws 2 strikes against it. You can see these awful welts that hit so hard it feels less like she's cutting and more like it's popping open long lines of flesh off this creature. 26. Damn, girl. This thing is looking spicy. Now, it is the dwarven priest who is going to hold out a hand. He's actually going to run back towards Calda and place his hands, and you can see the earth gathers up around him. There's that another flash of heat and forge fire as a light orange-red kind of flame goes across Calda, and you can see the bleeding stops from underneath her armpit as he's going to cast some healing magic on her and heal for Max.
Dope.
More than bless you, buddy. She's going to heal for 11 back. Well done. All right, that's the priest's turn. We're down to you. Those 2 dudes are dead, so it's Jasper.
Nice.
She'll go ahead and make a swing on this guy who hit her.
Go for it.
Alrighty. It's a 21 to hit.
A 21 to hit? Yeah, that'll do.
No sneak attack though.
No, not on this gentleman.
So that's
Well,
only going.
the question is, does Johnny count as an ally?
Does Johnny count as an ally?
Man, that's a fucking question, isn't it?
Roll me. I don't know how to phrase this
Roll
one.
persuasion on the DM.
Yeah, right. I mean, would Aquila count as an ally? I guess,
Aquila
right?
has counted as an ally, and since this is Johnny's actual body,
Yeah. No, spectral Johnnies do not count.
spectral guns do not count. I'll give it to you.
Wow.
Oh my
Thank
god.
you, DM.
It would be distracting, I gotta say, to see. a
I've
rat
given it for
flicking his
Aquila.
hair back.
If
This
it's
is a big.
if it's the actual physical body of Johnny and I can kill it, then yes.
Oh wow, thank you, Johnny, for all that damage. That's 15 slashing.
Nice.
The cultist looks down at Johnny. What do you do to punish him for it?
Um, he looks down to, get an eyeful of this rat, and instead he gets a face full of axe as she, undercuts, and just catches him. It splits his face right down the middle.
You see Johnny just looks up at this dude, gives him a finger gun, and he has this kind of weird expression as this axe sinks into it. However, Johnny is now covered in this dude's blood. He went from whatever kind of brown rat that he might be to a blood red rat. Pulls back.
Master Blood Rat.
Yeah. Goes down. You gets one of his little hands, wipes from his eyes all the way up to his hair to slick the whole thing back. And he doesn't even need it. It just stays right there. He is slick right now.
She heard Fergus get attacked, so she's gonna try to get around the pillar to see what's going on over there.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Yeah, you go around the pillar and you can see another one of these cultists who has their eyes locked on Fergus. You can see Fergus scrambling up onto this kind of ledge trying to make his way down. He's probably oh gosh, with his movement from where he's at, he's 5 up there, then 25 feet. So moving from there, it's going to take you 5, 10, 15 feet to get there. And he's probably about 30 feet away from you. You'd be like 5 feet out of reach of him.
Okay. I imagine I'll have to use my bonus action to disengage the one that hit him.
If you wanted to go the straightest path, the only problem is going the other way around the column. There's a hooked horror there, and
Right.
this thing is
mobile, right? You did the attacks.
You did, yeah. So you're mobile, so you don't have to.
It only works on the one I attacked, I believe.
Ah, that is true.
So
Yeah, so it's kind of stuck. There's him blocking the way, so you'd have to try to get past him, or going around the other side, which there's room, but you'd definitely be ranging that whatever fucking monster that is.
yeah, I think in order to not have to squeeze, either way it'll take extra movement, but she'll probably run along the wall and use cunning action to disengage with that guy and run past him to go after Fergus.
Yeah, you use the rest of your movement. Fergus is on the ledge above you, and you're about 5 feet, so in total distance, you're about 10 feet away, because he's on that ledge there where you were at. But you have put yourself in front of the cultist and Fergus. So to get to Fergus, that cultist is going to have to get through you.
Okay. And she's gonna say, "Don't you fucking dare think of running out of this." And that'll be her turn.
All right. Jove.
Yes. So feeling Jasper leave his back, he is going to, I will say, dodge roll like counterclockwise, and like him and Aquila are gonna split. So she's gonna go counterclockwise, I should say, and then he's gonna go clockwise down. And in that just like split second as he does the roll, I imagine only like, does the roll, maybe 10 feet of movement on each side, and we'll pop up to get that spear attack going. Ooh, yes, that is a 24.
A 24 will hit.
And Aquila and Jove, having pre-thought this tactic out in advance, she spits out some of that electric spittle as a target. Add that d6. Only 2 lightning this time, but we have, let's see here, we've got, so 12 piercing, 2 lightning.
12 piercing, 2 lightning. Yeah, another strike in this, that same kind of effect of, like, it's making these swings, and in between every swing, like, its whole body tenses up from the electricity of your spear strikes.
And then where, now that there's some distance between Jove and Aquila, Jove goes back down into his phalanx position. Aquila, on her turn, takes the dodge action, so she's really low with that tail up, just to be able to move on a dime as she needs.
Absolutely. That's your turn. Then it's Rornak.
Alrighty. So, Freddy did just burn away the last cultist that was there with
Yeah, absolutely. There's nobody in front of you guys now. One got his head split open by you. The other one had their chest burned open by Freddy.
Gotcha. Alrighty then. With which pillar I'm at, is there any other cultists that are like closest to me, or do I need to make my way over to like where?
If you went around the column south side, you would see the 2 cultists who have defeated this other dwarf. And let's see, there's 1, that's 2, 1's dead. And then there are 3 other dwarves that are currently engaged with 2 other cultists. So there are some more targets there. If you go back around the other side, it's just that whatever monstrosity that is.
Mm-hmm. Rornak's probably gonna go south and try to keep occupied those 2 that just took down that one, so they don't try and gang up on anybody. So Rornak is gonna make his way over, and he's going to strike one of them.
Go for it. They're currently engaged in just the savagery on this dwarf corpse.
was almost another crit fail, but that is only a 9.
That is not going to do. This time, the heavy sounds at your feet as you just break into a full, you going for like a big overhead swing. As one kind of picks up, sees you, and takes a step back, you bring down the staff, and it bounces off the corpse of this dwarf with a large pinging noise. Ping!
Alrighty. With my bonus action, I'll use another key point to use patient defense, and Rornak will kind of just start tapping the staff, like almost at their feet, kind of trying to provoke them as he's just preparing and reading their movements.
Absolutely, go ahead.
All right, and that'll be all for me.
Gotcha. It is now. That cultist is dead. There's that one that is heading towards Jasper and the 2 there. So, Rornak, you're getting 2 attacks, and then Jasper, you're getting the 3rd attack. As that cultist is going to follow behind you, trying to get to Fergus, needs to take you out first. So, against Rornak, as these 2 cultists turn their attention onto you, one is an unnatural 20. The other one is a natural 20.
Oh, geez. Is that with disadvantage on this?
Ooh, that would be with disad. So, we'll go unnat 20 for that one. That'll save you from the 20 there. And then let's roll the disad on the other one. All right, and that one will definitely... So one of those hits will go through. It's just a regular strike. With an unnatural 20, I believe, hits your AC.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, you take 7 points of bludgeoning damage. And then Jasper, it's going to make a strike against you. That is only 14.
Yeah, blocks with our shield easily.
Gotcha. That's 1, 2, 3. And then after that, it would be the dwarves. One is dead, so there's 3 left. 2 are going to engage.
Sorry, did you roll damage for mine, or?
Yes, you take 7 points of bludgeoning.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No,
Okay.
you're just fine. So then afterwards,
Wires got crossed, and I thought that was Jasper for a second. My bad.
let's see how the rest of the... Because it's all dwarves and cultists now. Let's see how their forays go. Oh, these dwarves, I'm so sorry. One of these dwarves wielding another one of the warhammers goes for a strike, and one of the cultists knocks the warhammer. As it goes skidding, you hear a kink, 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 kink. He reaches out for it as if to call it back, but is followed up by a overhand bludgeon strike as it strikes this dwarf. However, it's this awful falling as this dwarf hits the ground with a heavy thud after being hit from behind, disarmed with his weapon. The other dwarf, however, is not going to let his brother go down like that. And... nope. Is going to try to assist, however misses, but as this kind of tussle is becoming less of a stand-up fight, and now is going into a just absolute brawl. As weapons are getting thrown, bludgeoning is happening, people are getting struck left and right, some people are leaving their feet. It is an absolute blood battle. However, at the top of initiative, on our 3rd round... Everybody roll me perception.
Oy. Whoa, 16 from Jasper.
16.
Wow. Passive 12.
12.
17 from Joe.
17.
Passive of 11.
Good. That's all what you guys need, as there is a large rumbling from beneath the earth. And bursting out from behind Calda, picking her up as it goes through, you see this awful creature of earth and stone and flesh. It has 6 arms, although 3 of them seem more like legs than arms itself. It is this awful giant mouth that opens half of its body, almost kind of like it goes across the top hemisphere of a globe, as its hands reach up and grab Calda, piercing into her. She makes hardly any noise as it brings it closer into its mouth. And there's one large as Calda looks over and just yells, "Fergus!" Before you hear a as this creature devours Calda. The only thing kind of left is the sound of crunching metal and a squirt of blood. Riding on this, you see Jove, a familiar-looking figure, an large humanoid individual, its eyes glazed over in a light green energy, almost chanting a singular word of Agramok. Its body seems to be fused with crystals, almost acting like a plate armor against it. It throbs with this kind of unnatural light, its movements heavy, as it lands beside this creature next to the hooked horror with a Agramok. As it is going to go around the side and begin engaging with you. As this creature, after consuming Kaja, begins using its movement to head towards the direction of Fergus, going right past this kind of brawl of dwarves and cultists. As this other individual, in the kind of crystalline armor of the pale green eyes, is going to make 2 attacks against you, Jove, with a very familiar-looking Crystal Morning Star. That is an 18 and a 16.
First one is able to squeak by the shield, but the second one, Jove is able to cover up.
The surprise of seeing an individual like this, one that you are fairly certain you have killed before, appearing once again takes you by surprise as you take 7 points of piercing damage and pulls back for another strike, but you will not be caught a second time as you get the shield up and hang low as it scrapes across the front. This maddening-looking 6-armed creature makes its way 20 feet towards Fergus, only another 20 feet away from him. Jasper, even with your terrible perception, this creature's unmistakable. As it is moving past, you can see its arms are reaching out just ever so closely to these dwarves. However, it's one kind of this giant golden eye that sits on the side of its head, pierced directly, not at Fergus per se, but at the codex itself. The gems on the outside of it kind of gleaming, as you can see a mix of blood and drool kind of frothing from the top of its mouth. That's going to be its turn. We now move to Fergus.
I rolled a 15 for my con save, just by the way, for concentration.
Absolutely beautiful.
Fergus.
Fergus. Ooh, gosh, that is looking really bad for him. So he is going to try to climb up this thing. Let's see, does he have the athletics? He does. As Fergus moves up to the very top, if you look there, it's about 10 feet above the ground level of this, getting up above this, putting his back against the wall, holding the codex as this creature continues to lumber towards it. Now, it's Freddy's turn.
You muted.
I know how that feels.
What? Me?
Yeah.
Oh, what's happening? Oh, my turn?
Yes.
I was spaced out. Okay. I am going to have Johnny run over to Jasper. And I am going to cast a Cure Wounds. Since I have Johnny there, I can cast a touch spell through him and cast it on Jasper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can you see me well?
Yeah.
She doesn't seem to be harmed really at all.
Okay. I know Jove
I
got
do
hit.
appreciate the sentiment, though.
Jove has definitely been hit.
Yeah. So I'll have Johnny run over to Jove then.
Yeah, Johnny hops off your foot, Jasper, as you run that way in. Jove, you now have a Johnny on your foot.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you see a little bloody rat with slicked back hair get right on top of your foot and kind of gives you a tap on the shin as you feel that magic, that kind of wintry green magic come from the rat toward up your leg towards you as you... How much does it heal for?
5 whole points of healing.
Ooh.
Oh.
Thank you.
Rolled a 2 on an D8. Felt great.
Not nothing.
Not for
It's
nothing.
true. It is not nothing.
Not for nothing, but for a second I thought he was a little person.
That is actually all that I can do except reposition and just kind of chill.
Yeah, absolutely. You see, you do see kind of the last little bits of Calda's like fist in the air as she is consumed by this awful 6-armed creature. This awful conglomeration of flesh and stone and gems. However, after Frederick, we have they're dead, she's dead. Oh, it's the Hooked Horror's turn. Glorious. Jove and Aquila. It's got a hunger, and you're looking real good right now. So, first for Jove, then Aquila. For Jove, there's only a 13. For
Aquila has
Aquila,
the dodge action.
that is good to know. Oh, no fucking way!
Oh no.
That's a double nat 20.
Yucky.
Oh.
That is a double nat 20. That is right there. I will fucking take a picture of it. That is... Gosh, I know that you guys do believe me, and I appreciate the faith, but holy shit, you never see that.
I don't think you would ever lie because
No.
you've let some bad rolls slide on your part. So
Absolutely. The yellow one in the corner is from earlier, don't mind that one. It was the player killer dice and my Flavonius dice.
Flav, what the fuck, bro?
That's exactly the type of Flav shit he would do. Okay, gosh, Aquila, I'm so sorry for this. That is going to be... Oh, well, you get lucky with the minimum damage rolls. Still, that is going to be 24 points of piercing damage on Aquila.
God.
As Jove, you watch as this hooked horror comes over the top with a hook, and you're prepared for it, but in doing so, it opens up Aquila, and you can see that it drives its hook short from you, doesn't even get close, almost like a feint tactic, before driving straight into the center of Aquila. She kind of lets out this, like, almost kind of like halfway between a cat and a gator.
Yeah, had that extra layer of armor that seemed to have popped up on her over the last couple of days not been there, that would have been enough to take her out in one blow.
Yeah, see, removes it, and while she is heavily bleeding, although for Aquila it's strange, she doesn't bleed blood in the typical sense. It seems almost more of like that orange substance kind of drops from her, and there's the slight smell of ion in the air as it... You can see kind of her body shake a bit from the impact of that blow. She's still with you, but she's heavily hurt. You can sense it.
What you're saying is that nobody makes her bleed her own blood.
literally.
Not Tequila. They called me Giant Slayer.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
Nobody makes me bleed on blood. I make things bleed, and then we'll eat for nourishment and taste. Octopus is alright. That is going to be its turn. Now it is Jasper's turn.
Okay. Well, she's got this cultist in her face. So she's gonna go ahead and make a swing against him. At least to proc mobile. Thankfully her attacks are quite reliable today. That's a 22 to hit.
A 22 will hit.
Regular damage on that. Thankfully rolled pretty high. That's 11 slashing.
How do you want to do this?
Oh, thank goodness. Yeah, like she scolded what's his name, and like turned around just in time to swat the attack with her shield, and just brings her axe down on his clavicle and just like, yeah, just completely slices through it, and like with the momentum of the swing just brings him down to the ground. Just in time to see what was her name? Calda
Calda Pure
Calda
Fist.
get devoured. and see that thing barreling towards him. Not super keen on getting in that thing's way, but also not super keen on it getting the codex. What does this thing look like? It's not a hooked horror, right?
Go ahead. You may roll Arcana or Nature to discern the nature of this creature.
We'll call this 17 nature.
A 17 Nature. This is a creature that its specific name, you have only read about it. They are denizens of the Underdark typically. They are called Zorn. Xorn.
Oh shit.
Yes, they are a Underdark. They are an Underdark Denzian. They are vaguely sentient. You also know that there is nothing Zorns like more than consuming precious metals and stones. Much like a incredibly armored in the finest of dwarven plate would be quite the snack to a Zorn.
That makes sense.
Indeed. Typically, Zorns are not at the beck and call of others. They are solitary creatures except during mating. They do speak a language. But with the 17, that's about as much as you've read up on a Zorn. They're a terror in the mines. That's probably more of like, you've heard stories from Zorgos talking about having to deal with Zorns and, oh, it's a few miners.
Just on the off chance that this works, she's gonna call out to it and in Infernal say, "My bag is full to the brim with gems." Does it react to that?
It does not react to that. It does not react to Infernal.
Okay. She'd give it a shot.
You hear, everybody hears Jasper speak in this basically demon Latin. Which, Freddy, you understand just fine. Although you do feel that Laps's Infernal has gotten a little rusty.
I think that's the first time the other two have even heard her speak that before, which is fine.
Yeah, it's a very guttural, hard language.
Yeah, since that didn't work, she's going to just try to get in its way. And out of just sheer fear of it, I think she's going to... she doesn't want to waste that in case that goes wrong. Yeah, she's just going to stand in front of it for now.
Staring down the Zorn. Bold.
Yeah.
Speaking of Zorns and bold, it is now Yov.
So Jove is going to lift up his shield above his head to kind of shield him from the crystalline armored individual in front of him, and using that as kind of almost like an umbrella of protection above him, he is going to twist and he is going to strike the hooked horror that is still next to him.
Indeed.
Ooh, that is a 12.
That is not going to do.
Then on Akila's turn, or so I should say on Jove's turn, he is going to use bonus action to allow Akila to do her thing. So on Akila's turn, she is going to use her action to do a little bite on this hooked horror because she is out for blood.
Indeed she is.
And she is hurting, and really it's more of just a pure animal instinct at this point. Yeah, so close to a net 20. But it is well over 20. We're looking at 24.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this does. It does 3 piercing and 2 lightning damage as she sinks her teeth in.
Yeah, she absolutely rips a chunk from the leg of this creature. Its body kind of doing a twitch, not as long as from the damage that you've done with your spear, but you can see that tenseness. It is bleeding profusely, its breath becoming labored. You can see kind of its large ear sockets starting to kind of droop from exertion.
Then Jove is going to stand stalwart here.
Absolutely. Close dead, so that would be the cleric who is going to raise up their staff, grip it in both hands, and like a hammer blow, brings it down. There is kind of this streaking of light. The heat of a furnace erupts once again. So he's going to cast Guiding Bolts at this Zorn after killing Calda. Ooh, that's a natural 19. That'll definitely do. So, whoever hits the Zord next will have advantage because of Guiding Bolts. Good on ya, Cleric.
Oh, man.
I fucking love clerics. Oh, well, these rolls could be better. It is going to do 4, 6, 8 points of radiant damage to the Zorn, as it kind of erupts from below and kind of catches the Zorn underneath. It's now sheathed in this kind of reddish orange golden light, lighting up this, and you can see just the pock marks and deep crevices in its flesh. You can see the bits of like metal and gore hanging from the outsides of its mouth. This awful half hemisphere mouth that opens from the top, almost like a hand that's been flipped upside down with its like limbs bent at unnatural angles, opening up like a Daedra's hand mouth, if that helps. However, that's going to be his turn. Then it's Rornak.
Alrighty. Am I still engaged with the 2?
You are still engaged with the 2, yes.
Okay. Just making sure there. So I will take another strike here. That's a 16.
Will do.
Beautiful. That's for 6 bludgeoning, and I will use I'll use my bonus action for the 1 unarmed strike.
Go for it.
And that definitely hits with a 23.
Yeah.
For another 4 bludgeoning damage.
How do you want to do this?
Oh, thank goodness. Oh man. It's oh, sorry, I got distracted by Kyle. I thought I missed something. Yeah, I mean, it's just all the precision again, and it's almost like a double poke. Like he's tapping the staff back and forth, and they do get him with a good hit. But as he like pulls it back, almost like pool ball cue, just strikes straight in the chest on one, and then follows it up with his left, and just again just crushes the sternum, just hitting right where he hit with the staff. It's like a quick 1-2 motion with that.
And you just cave in the chest of this individual, pun superintended, and as they kind of bend over forward and land, kind of prostrating themselves in the air. There's still one left there. However, for kind of a head count, there is one cultist engaged with Rornak, one cultist engaged with kind of the dwarves there in the path of the Zorn. The hooked horror, this kind of crystalline individual, and that is it. As you guys have killed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of these cultists have died. Okie dokie. Anything else from you, Rornak?
That will be all. No movement or anything. So.
You got it. After Rornak is the dwarf. The one cultist still on his feet by you, Rornak, is going to make an attack.
Go for it.
That's only 12.
Nope.
Nope, not going to do. The other cultist is going to use the shock from the Zorn to make a strike at the down dwarf. Ooh, with advantage. That is definitely going to hit. As you see the dwarf missing their warhammer, this cultist goes up behind and just brings this devastating blow straight from like 2 hands up, 2 hands down, and there's this sound of stone on flesh back onto stone as like a quick like a triplet of sound goes and it hits ends this dwarf's life. It's another dwarf down. It's 3 dwarves down. Then we go as these dwarves also engage.
I love that band. 3 dwarfs down.
3 dwarves down.
Stop. No.
Yes.
As
I'm not
the
the DM, but +1.
Thank you. Thank you, Kyle.
as these
It'll
these
be a plus for my heart.
2 other dwarves are not going to let that cultist get away with that, and they just absolutely together almost at once. One takes out the legs, the other takes out the top. They tabletop this schmuck with double warhammers and return the favor, crushing him there, almost bending him in half from the 2 strikes coming at the same time. Just so that takes care of that. There's one last cultist. However, back at the top, we have the Zorn, who goes by these dwarves, and he is going to try to pick one of them up. That's 3. Yep, that's 3 hits. You see Jasper and the rest of the party who's watching as it goes past these dwarfs, picks up one of them as they pull back from the hammer strike, and throws it into their mouth. You can see it's ripping off parts of their armor. And once again, there's not even like a big cry. There's just a single before. As it moves another 20 feet, Jasper, it is right on top of you. It is climbing up over you. And it's weird because it doesn't really need to climb. It's almost like it just smooths into the rock and then gets its feet up on the next one. It's almost gliding up this. You could take an attack of opportunity if you chose to do so.
I would love to. I believe it has advantage because of the guiding bolt.
Indeed it does, because the other dwarf... Yeah...
Wow. That's double 7s for 13 to hit.
Ooh, that is not gonna do. Your blade strikes across this, and there's this awful... as it kind of just streaks across the underbelly of this. While you're used to the underbelly of most creatures being their soft part, this part feels just hard and rocky. As it gets up on the first, as it gets onto the first ledge, its arms reaching out ever closer to Fergus, who is now kind of stuck. But it's not the end of this turn, as the one by you, Jove, is going to bring down 2 heavy blows. The first, unfortunate. That is only a 10. The second one at you, Jove. Double 10s. Okay.
Yeah. So the having the shield above his head was able to parry those blows.
You can feel the bruising on your arm from just the weight of these blows. However, you are able to keep your arm strong and your shield sturdy and not take the 2 hits from this one. Okay. It is then Fergus's turn. Boy, he's fucking stuck. Shit, Fergus. Yeah, he's going to use the dodge action. And this, he's not looking really excited.
Oh, can Jasper... Oh, she used her reaction already. Never mind.
Yeah, absolutely. He's kind of stuck right now. Because the only way would be trying to jump over this creature right past its mouth for a 15-foot drop as a dwarf straight into more combat. So he's going to take the dodge action and try not to die. Speaking of trying not to die, Freddy,
Yeah, I'm just checking something real quick.
go for it.
I mean, either way I do this, it's gonna be a wisdom save. It's just which of these do I want to do? Okay. Freddy's gonna just play some high notes on his harp. Beep, 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 beep. And some like rainbow colored kind of goofy looking chords shoot out of his harp and fly at the thing that's chasing down Fergus. And he needs to make a wisdom save as hideous laughter flies at him.
All right, hideous laughter. Wisdom save. Would you believe it doesn't have the greatest wisdom save? 15 though.
Fuck me. Okay, yeah, then nothing happens. It was worded really weird. Because the way that it's worded, it does find everything funny, and falls into fits of laughter. Oh, if the spell affects it. There we go. And then it says the target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or fall prone. So it does laugh, but then it just keeps doing whatever it's doing.
It's this awful. As it kind of chortles at that, it continues to head on its path towards Fergus.
Okay, that's me.
All right, then it is the Hooked Horror's turn. Jove and Aquila, you're both taking one. For Jove, it's a 16.
His shield is holding strong.
For Aquila, that's a 16.
Let me double check. I believe that hits. Yep, that meets.
How much health does Aquila have?
1.
Oh,
How do I want to do this?
No.
As it just, this time, it pierces into Aquila and picks her up and, like, slides her body down towards its gullet. And as it, like, bites through, there's a of kind of orange gugh as Aquila's body kind of explodes from the impact. Doesn't do any damage, unfortunately, because she's not a mephit. And you feel that energy rush back into you. And there's a fire that comes with it. You feel your whole body tensing with the kind of her return as she's fucking pissed.
Yeah, Jove is too.
Yeah, you can hear that kind of draconic, and boy, there's some choice insulting draconic. You've never heard anybody referred to as shit in such a way, but it's an impressive bit of verbiage from Aquila.
Wide vocab. Proud of her.
Yeah, wow, it's really, you're really starting to get this draconic, and boy, she got a mouth on her. But that's going to be the Hooked Horror's turn, as then we drop down to, would you believe, it's the Jasper. It's called the
the
stat.
Jasper.
The Jasper.
How far away from Fergus am I?
If you had to climb up this, since you haven't climbed up the ledge, it'd be 5, 10, so 5 feet to get up, 10, 15, another 5 feet to get up, 20, 25.
Was I not on the first ledge?
Unless you jumped up on there, the last time we spoke, you had engaged with that cultist and put yourself in front, so you hadn't climbed up on that ledge. However, they're only 5 feet tall each piece, so Fergie's about 25 feet away from you.
Okay.
And with your slippers of spider climbing, you have a climbing
Right.
speed equal to your movement
Not a
speed.
problem.
It's not a problem for you.
I am. It left my melee range, so I'm not in melee range with it.
Not
So,
currently.
Will I incur an attack of opportunity on my way over there?
You would not.
Okay, cool. She is going to run to Fergus and tell him that thing wants to eat you because of the book. Give it to me.
Make
Or do you want to end up like your girlfriend?
Make an intimidation with disadvantage with that little extra juice right there.
Okay. Well, 13.
He goes to say something, but then right behind you is a... And his eyes get glued back towards that as the hands have now reached up onto the ledge. They are literally feet away from you. Not quite within your range yet, Jasper, but just there. You can see these awful, they're non-human hands. It's like 4 fingers. They like are spread way too far out, almost like you could grip a globe with each one of them. And each one is jagged with earth and wrecked and sharp, jagged stones, as if they've been embedded into the flesh of this creature.
Okay.
All right. What would you like to do for your action?
Good question. You know, if this dude wants to fucking die for this book so bad, Jasper's kind of tired of trying to save his life. So she's going to she's gonna give in to some of her darker proclivities and get out of the way of Fergus. And she's gonna stand to the side of the Zorn and make an attack.
Absolutely. You walk on and get to the side of the Zorn. Go ahead and make an attack.
That's a 19 to hit.
A 19? Just hits.
Wow.
Yep, you
That's
may...
a tough old goat.
Yeah, that's a creature that is made almost entirely of rock and stone and very little flesh.
It's regular damage, I'm assuming.
Yes, indeed.
It is max, though, for 12 slashing.
12 slashing, and luckily, 12 with your battle axe. This time you find purchase and slice through, and it's a clean slice. As you can see, it doesn't bleed. It almost seeps this like brown amber like ichor, as if blood doesn't course through it, but something far darker. Zorn takes 20.
Yeah, I think with as dire as this fight's going... No, you know what? She's gonna wait till Fergus is in its range. She'll end her turn there.
You got it. Then, Jove.
Job is very, very pissed, and also has a very pissed Aquila inside him being pissed. So, even though there's
You're like a Russian nesting doll for anger.
Really, honestly. And that anger erupts, and with not so much of a calculated move as he's done before. He's going to do more of a wild swing at the hooked horror. Really just trying to drive this as deep as he can and hopefully end its existence.
Kill it!
Again, so close. So close. That's a 25 to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Let me get the d6. Ooh, okay, not bad. So we're looking at... we're looking at 13 piercing damage there.
13 piercing damage. Yeah, absolutely. How do you want to do this?
Oh, beautiful. So you say it's got like a big kind of bat ear looking thing?
Yeah, I kind of think almost like the Cloverfield, but more avian in this kind of strange nature of it. Like these big kind of pulsating with every move, click, and echo. It's like they're swiveling and taking it all in. It's like it can see all of you at once with its hearing.
Yeah, he maybe it has retreated into the hole that it came out a little bit if it's too tall, but he is going to like run up and shield bash against that sensitive part, feeling that that's probably a good way to do it. And as it's reeling from that initial shock and kind of almost maybe a popping noise, he's going to sink that electrum spear as deep as he can into that ear canal. And he's being wicked with it. He is rocking it back and forth and really wants to cause it pain.
as Jove just drives this into this creature until it goes still, its body kind of slumping back into the hole it burrowed out of.
And as Joe takes his spear out, he'll flick it to the side, and a splash of blood will go across the enemy in front of him, and says, "Well, I've already done this once. I'll do it again." And he'll get himself prepared to fight solo with this individual.
But solo, you will not, as this priest is going to come over, and he's going to flake that individual and bring in this kind of, what you thought was a staff, but actually appears to be a mace of some sort, is going to bring it down against the back of your would-be adversary. And with advantage, because he's flanking, all right, that's going to be a 22. And he's going to pump some smite into that bitch. All right, so it's going to be 6 bludgeoning and 8 radiant. For 14. On the Blackest Guard. You see as this kind of priest runs over after hitting that Zorn, seeing the hooked creature like fall. He gets up behind it and drives this kind of mace straight into the lower back of this, and you hear the sound of crystals splintering, and there's this wave of heat, and it's scalding, but it's strange because it doesn't feel like fire on your skin, Jove. You feel that like heat from inside match that same energy, just that righteous fury. It's rather inspiring as you and this priest are now taking on this crystalline aggressor in front of you, who even with makes no noises, doesn't cheer or shout, simply just continues to chant, Ogrimmok, Ogrimmok, over and over, in like almost in tempo with his kind of morning star strikes. Ogrimmok, Ogrimmok. However, that's going to be that priest turn. Is now Rornax.
You muted.
Yeah, apologies. I was taking a quick bite there. Okay, so, are any of the dwarves still engaged with the cultists, or is it just Big Stony Boy and the monster that's left here?
The priest is engaged with the crystalline cultist. The other dwarf, there is one other remaining dwarf who hasn't either been murdered by cultist or this Zorn, who is not engaged with anybody at this present moment.
Gotcha. Okay. Rornak is gonna make his way over to the main group, and with his crew to help with attacking the big crystal guy. But on the way, if he can, and if he needs to move into the better 20 feet position, he is gonna draw a dart and throw it at that last cultist that is engaged.
Well, that last cultist that is engaged is right next to you. You did have the 2 that were on you. You've murdered one.
I'm so silly. I thought, right. Okay. Well, then I will go for that one. That one will be with a staff strike then,
I
obviously.
assumed. But yes, go for it.
And that's not gonna purchase, probably. That's a 10.
A 10? Even these guys are fast enough to dodge that one.
Yeah. We'll still bonus strike and see if we can get extra damage.
Go for it.
That one's a 17 to hit,
That'll definitely hit.
and that's for 4 bludgeoning.
All right, 4 bludgeoning. Yeah, you crack this fool at the side of the head. It's not enough to pinpoint shatter his chest like the other ones, but you can definitely tell his head is ringing from the impact.
Very nice. I don't really want to provoke, so I'll keep my ground there. But Rornak is definitely surveying the field while also trying to keep an eye on the cultists in front of him, and that'll be all for me.
Yes, the The cultist by you is going to make a strike, since he goes first. That is a 15, Rornak.
Does not hit.
Misses. However, that other dwarf is going to throw their warhammer at this other cultist on its turn. Oh, that's natural 17. Yeah, that'll do. And a warhammer thrown, two-handed. Yeah. Rornak, you dodge. You just lean back like you're doing a two-step in the club, and watch this club strike in front of you. As the cultist lifts its head back, a little bit of blood coming from the mouth from your strike, you see a glint of metal as this warhammer hurtles through the air and strikes the back of this cultist's head, just absolutely crushing it. You can see all the liquids pushed forward to the front of their face as it almost splurts out in front of you as it hits the ground, the warhammer dropping to the side. The dwarf reaches out, and the hammer returns back to his hands as he turns to face the Zorn and begins running that way. Of course, with his dwarven legs, he can't get all the way there. That's another cultist down. Back at the top, the Zorn finally closes in on Fergus. Moving past you, Jasper, you may take an attack of opportunity.
I'd love to miss with the 14.
And then it has 1, 2, 3, with disadvantage though, because Fergus is indeed using the dodge action. Let's see. Ooh, even with disadvantage. Jasper, you watch, you swing out wide, and it just kind of glides off of this one, shearing off a little bit of the stone, but not cutting deep enough for that kind of sticky amber ichor from this creature as the hands reach and grab Fergus. Him still holding on to the codex, there's a kind of a yelp as you see this Zorn's body begin to glide into the stone behind Fergus and begins heading down the direction of the tunnel, south if we look at our map. You can see Fergus and hear him go, "Whoa!" And as the earth comes there, it makes that immediate cut off a sound. You can just barely hear kind of the rumble behind. As the Zorn takes Fergus to who fucking knows where. Then we go over to the crystalline figure. One attack against the priest, one attack against Jove. Jove, that's a critical fail. That is a disarming as you lift your shield up, and this time you match the blow. His movement's becoming very readable, very stocky, and you knock the club out of his hand. He's going to spend his next action, what would be a second attack, to pick that up and not attack the priest because he's out of actions. Then we go over to Freddy.
Okay. I'm going to shoot a firebolt at him then.
Absolutely, go for it.
Actually, I'm gonna run up to him and stab him.
Yeah, stab him.
I'm gonna stab him.
Go ahead and do so with advantage. He is currently flanked, and you're just adding to it.
The 16 to hit.
16 on him. That will something. That will indeed something. Where'd it go? 16. That is not going to hit.
That's my turn.
Absolutely. Then it is Jasper.
She's gonna book it over to the group fight if she can get in on this flanking.
Yeah, absolutely. With your boots of spider climbing, you just ha 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 ha. It's like watching a snail go down a set of stairs.
Yeah, she'll make her attacks. Thank goodness that had advantage. What the fuck?
Oh no.
That's double nat ones.
Yikes.
Oh.
Jasper, please roll me damage.
Yeah. Thankfully, that was minimum damage. So it's 5 slashing.
All right. We're gonna roll since there are 3 targets here. We're gonna roll a d6. 1 to 2 is Jove. 5 to 6 is the priest. Technically, Freddy, you're not in range of this one, so it's actually would be 1 to 3 would be Jove. 4 to 6 will be the priest, because to get flanky you wouldn't be there. So, ooh, that's a 1. Jove. Well, Jasper, how much damage do you do to Jove?
5.
5 points. Take that cure wounds that you got earlier and get rid of it. And you go for a slice, and it scratches right off the kind of the crystalline grafted armor of this humanoid, and your axe continues going forward, and you catch Jove right in the side of the arm, and it's not the deepest cut you've ever had, but you definitely bit Jove.
And you'd be surprised, Jasper, he seems honed in a way. He obviously notices that you got scratched, but he doesn't yelp. He is focused here.
Word.
Doesn't even notice it. Just like you're expecting like a, oh, hey, Jasper. But it never comes. Okay,
How does this enemy look right now?
This enemy, you can see a little bit of cracks in shipping of some of its crystalline armor. However, its expression hasn't changed. It's almost like this zombie look on the front of it. Just the only thing almost being kind of this pulsing auger mark. Its movements jerky and slow and solid, as if like there are little levers trying to pull the stone of this body. While incredibly strong, not very fast.
Okay. She'll stay put.
Absolutely. Jove.
Jove's going to take advantage of the lumbering movement and kind of dodge roll to the other side to still get flanking. But just to get a little movement, just to sauce on him a bit. So does an 18 do it?
An 18 just hits.
Ooh. Ooh, for max damage, that's 10 piercing there, Cap.
10 piercing. Yeah, absolutely. You hear a number of the inside crystalline structure of this enemy begin to break and shatter. The light from it fades a little bit, while it's still on its feet, and while it makes no sounds or noise to indicate pain. You do feel, you can see almost this kind of like showering of crystalline dust beginning to seep out from it, from the broken bits of body from your spear point. Anything else from you, Jove?
Nope, he's sitting tight.
All right, it is the priest's turn. The priest wants this to be over just as much as anybody else, because this has not been a fun time for them. So, they're going to do what dwarves do best. They're going to hit it really fucking hard. All right, that just meets. So I'll do a 7 bludgeoning and 10 radiant as it burns another to smite this. This time you see an entire section of kind of the center of this one break off. There's that another gout of forge fire and warmth. You can almost hear the pinging of hammers behind it as he drives this mace into the back of this creature once more. Jove, you can feel the bits of crystalline kind of splinter and hit across your face and appendages. This thing has to almost kind of hold part of its body upright. It's like it's missing almost the entire side section. Imagine almost like All Might's wound, but fresh. As it is barely left standing there. We move over to Rornak.
Alrighty. Let us hope that we can end this last cultist here. And that is a 23 to hit.
23 will hit.
Wait, he died, didn't he? Or no? Because he had he got struck by the axe that was thrown at him. Is he still up? Or
Oh, no. This
Yeah.
is the crystalline one. The other dude's died.
Okay,
He had a warhammer thrown through the back of his skull.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I will move into range then, if I can.
You absolutely have the range for it, as
Okay,
this
and-
individual is now just surrounded by the entirety of the party.
So that was a 23. Can I? Ooh, is that with advantage with flank? Can I re-roll again?
You may roll a second time. You do have advantage.
Okay. No crit fish on that one, but I will roll damage. Okay. So that is for 7 bludgeoning. But I will do the bonus attack for the unarmed strike.
Absolutely.
Do a 15 hit.
A 15 does not hit. However, after that first strike, you stick the staff straight through, and there's a large kind of thud as a kind of broken crystal drops from it. There is a flickering of light, and for a second, it pulses with green before this creature tries to reach down and grab that crystalline part, but their body just kind of... like the Tin Man running out of oil. As he fails that constitution save, he stops moving. The light fades from him. And all is quiet once more in the cavern. We out of initiative.
Wow.
Yay.
Hey, that big thing took Fergus down that hallway.
Well, it's got the
Along
book
with the
too,
book.
right?
Yeah.
Let's get hoofing.
Yeah, with that, Jasper's gonna go that way with some speed.
I feel like Jove takes off first. And it's like, I need to get a little bit of a head start, and Jasper just right past him.
I want to check one thing out. Absolutely. You both begin taking off that way. Rory and Freddy, do you guys follow suit from your party?
Yes.
Absolutely. The 2 remaining dwarfs, the priest and the hammer thrower, also follow you. With a wordless kind of nod between the 2 of them, they run after you. As you are running, following down this cavern, trying to find wherever this kind of pole is, heading that same direction the Zorn carrying Fergus was. You've been running for the better part of probably a half an hour. During this time, that cleric is going to cast a prayer of healing. The symbol on their chest lighting up with this kind of mace as it holds it close, and you feel just kind of that forge fire. However, it's not hot, it doesn't burn. This time, it's a healing kind of flame. You feel yourself reforged, this kind of holy gift from Murden. And that's going to be 2d8s plus his spellcasting modifier. Return back to the party. Himself and his companion, because there's 4 of you plus the 2 of them. For 6 altogether.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. Priests are fucking smart. They're wisdom. They're wise. Ooh, that's an 8. And an 8! Everybody go ahead and take 19 points of healing.
Look at him go.
Spurned on after watching Calda and the rest of the Hammers of Moradin just be brutalized by this sneak attack from the Cult of the Black Earth. You find that these dwarves, while not much for talking, are quite formidable in their own ways, as with a few words of Dwarvish that Freddy and Jove you would hear is just a prayer to Morden to harden the iron that is your soul, and to give strength and courage to protect heart and hearth. Heart and hearth, that's a hard one to say. Two, as he kind of gives this prayer to Morden, and everybody heals for 19 points. You can continue down at a what's the word? It starts with the frantic. I believe a frantic pace is the word I am looking for. Running past. It takes the better part of an hour just trying to travel through these tunnels, going deeper and darker into these tunnels, into the Underdark. You eventually enter into a cavernous area. You can see that there is a stream that seems to flow. However, as it hits, you find yourself stuck. It almost looks like a large cyst of earth, this big, bulbous, smooth, red-orange stone that the water continues underneath into, but less of like it curves underneath as if it just flows past this rock. It's this kind of strange, nearly flesh-covered, like pockets of earth. Looking to the side, can really give me a perception check.
Passive 17.
Pass the 17.
16.
16.
Passive 12.
12. Jasper?
Catchphrase.
Catchphrase. Got it. Looking through, you can see that this, kind of judging by the natural terrain of this large kind of earthen cyst that I'll refer to it from now on, does seem almost like it's bubbled and blossomed here. That at one point this may have just been a large cavern with kind of an underground river going through it, but has like blossomed and blocked it off. The stone, you kind of examine it, and examining the stone and searching kind of the area around, it's completely smooth. However, it feels less earthen. It almost has this kind of gelatin feel to it. It almost, as you like press your hand into it, it kind of gives way and stretches and pushes back against you. Just as you guys are kind of exploring this and trying to figure out how to continue further into it, it feels as if the air is almost sucked out of the room. There's a large kind of, as if somebody has inhaled and made an actual pop noise. Looking around, you see behind you 2 drow materialize out of seemingly nothing. One is an older male drow with eyes clouded by cataracts, carrying an obsidian staff and wearing elaborate black and red robes. He turns to you, and then back to the other drow and says, "Believe this is where you want to be, then." And with a nod, his body almost wraps into itself, leaving the other drow. He's younger. He doesn't wear the robes of a wizard, but more practical adventuring clothes in black and reds. Although he does seem to have several fetishes and pouches and also carries a staff. His skin is so dark it's almost purple. Especially for you, Jasper, it's very contrasted to how light Kirk's skin is. He's got close-cropped silver hair, well-manicured sideburns. However, unlike Kirk, he does not have the dark purple, almost lilac-colored eyes that many drow has. Instead, they're bright green. Well, none of you appear to be Fergus. That's a bit of a letdown.
No, he's currently getting pulled away at some speed by Zorn. So unless you want to explain real quickly what's going on, we've got somewhere to be.
Long short of it, I'm the one that needs that codex right here that he has. If you're trying to get him, then we're all on the same page right here. Whatever you need. Name's Mercivis. Pleasure to meet you. And he kind of gives a big kind of bow.
sorry for being a bit informal right now. Do you know what that red fucking thing is that's blocking our way?
Right there? That would be a bit of earth and magic. Inside of there, I would reckon, is probably an elemental node. Which would be great if we had the codex. But we don't. And we need to get in there, and I assume we need to get in there right now.
Yeah, as soon as possible would be terrific.
Alright, I'll help you get in there. I don't personally really care what happens to Fergus. I just needed the codex. Let me copy that. You got me, and all my magical powers behind me.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about Fergus either. I'd honestly prefer if he was dead, but we'll make sure everyone who wants the codex can get their hands on it before we're done.
Perfect. Ah, and he looks over and he sees the two remaining dwarfs. The priest, his eyes kind of raise in acknowledgement. Good to see you again. See, I told you the last time we got together that we'd see each other again. Now look at that. Wouldn't give me the codex at first, and now you need me to get it back. God, I love irony. As the Gores kind of have that sullen, kind of glaring expression. But the nature of the situation calls for fast friends. As Mercivus goes up to the stone and begins kind of sketching out this large, intricate circle. It's probably going to take me the better part of about half an hour, so if you need a time to take a breather, now's it. Breaking through this much earthen magic without the codex? Take me a bit of time. Priest. Bori, right? Get over here. And he kind of takes the priest's mace and kind of shoves it straight into the middle of this kind of hole and begins to trace out even more circles. As he goes through over and over, the runes begin to light. You guys do have a chance. You got about half an hour before his spell is completed to let you into the earthen cyst. So, take a short rest now.
I mean, the heal got me up. I don't have to do anything.
I will take the short rest for my key points.
Yeah, I have no need for it.
Jill's gonna take the time rather than resting to just try and get a good lay of the land around, just to more of the tactical things. If it's not a completely flat surface, just trying to really take it all in. So if the battle bleeds out into here, he'll have sure footing.
Yeah, it appears as if the cyst, the node itself, appears to be about 30, maybe 40 feet at its height. This large kind of oval shape. It pushes up against the sides. This might have been kind of like a more narrow corridor leading down, following the path of this underground river. But now it has like pressed up against the sides. You can see where it's almost kind of gelatin stone-like self pushes up. You can see the stone is kind of cracked away from it on the sides. Heading back, will lead to a series of tunnels back up towards the surface to your former fights. However, you can't get past and see what is behind the earthen cyst at this point in time. Looking into the water, it's got that kind of hard water buildup, dark because of the besides the kind of dim light coming off of this earthen cyst. It doesn't light up the water very well. You're not entirely sure how deep it goes just by looking at it from the top. It does move with a bit of speed and seems to just pass into the earthen cyst before disappearing into whatever the hell is going on in there.
Noted.
While we got time, Jasper's gonna turn to our party. Anyone got any extra health potions?
Yeah,
I have one potion on me.
I only have 8.
Oh.
Would you be so benevolent as to lend me one?
Sure.
Thank you. Is that just a normal one?
Yeah, potion of healing.
2d4 plus 2.
Yep.
You got a recycling program for this? You know, is it like the milkman? I'll leave it on the stairs.
Oh, I'm not paying him back.
He's gonna slam that and then throw the vial on the ground, just break it. Fuck yo, potion.
Just a contingency plan. I don't need it right now.
This ain't a transaction. This is a keep me alive plan, you know?
Keep anyone who needs it alive, considering I'm the most mobile of us.
I get it.
He says out loud.
But yeah, I think Jasper, like, for most of this time, is pacing pretty impatiently.
Yeah, Jove eventually sits down and does the old Gandalf in the Mines of Moria, where they're trying to figure out which way to go, and just breaks out his pipe and is just furiously smoking on that pipe.
You make any smoke monsters out of it?
I think, yeah, he does. You know, at first, I think he's gonna go with a dragon head and work on his dragon forms that he can make with that.
Yeah, absolutely. You make a kind of a menagerie of different dragon-style heads and such. Some more like Aquila, some more old-fashioned from stories and paintings that you've seen. The priest and the hammer thrower, the priest assists Mercivus where he can on kind of the spell. Occasionally there's the small kind of breath of forge fire, the heat that rises in this kind of cool, damp earthen spot where water and earth meet. Mercivus, you see in kind of his adventures, the magic he uses ranging from kind of a light, like almost fluorescent purple to kind of dark shades of maroon that kind of get lost in the blackness of certain parts. Building, it almost looks more like the faces of a clock, as if he's trying to speed up time in certain places of this, and moves these energies around, occasionally moving the priest's hand to like hold different spots with the mace. 30 minutes goes by. You have a chance to smoke your pipe, regain your key from a quick meditation, view the kind of surroundings of this earthen cyst before there's kind of a flash of purple, and the stone takes on this very like thin sheen. You can kind of see the insides of it, and peering through this kind of shadow puppet style of like peering through into the earthen cyst. It appears as if there are floating platforms that seem to bob and float in the air as if they were stones bobbing on water. They appear to be anywhere from 10 to almost 20 feet in the air. And you can see just kind of this pooling of green light at this kind of center platform, shining through even kind of the gleam and sheen of this, the earthen cyst kind of outer wall. As Mercivus turns to the rest of you. Well, there we go. All set and all right, ready to rock and roll. It's a dumb pun. Pardon me, make jokes at the worst time.
Impressive work. And she's gonna just stroll past.
Absolutely, let me get the marching order into this bad boy.
Can I take the last 10 minutes of that short rest to do detect magic?
You certainly may. As you finish your detect magic, immediately the cyst just erupts in evocation and abjuration, conjuration. Just this absolute black hole of elemental magic. It almost hurts to look at, but you're used to such nodes of power, especially an elemental node. Much like your time at Fort Dalton, it's that just kind of almost blinding amount of magic. However, looking through, you can see, of course, the priest has like abjuration magic that pops up. You see that the hammer from the hammer thrower itself does not ping with any magic, but the dwarf himself does. Seems to be a blessing of, I believe that would be also abjuration magic. And then looking at Mercivus, he pings, you can see that there appears to be a spell book on him. The fetishes itself appear to be a couple different focuses. He doesn't appear to have anything specifically that is magic, but what you'd expect from a spellcaster. Appears to be a wizard of nature of some sorts. Gotcha. The earthen cyst is open. What's your guys' marching order? Jasper, you are taking first.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Jove will hop behind Jasper.
Jove, you'll hop behind Jasper. You got it.
Freddy, do you want to be in the far back, or do you want me as the cushion?
I can be in the back.
Absolutely. We got you guys in the back. Rornak behind you, the priest and the hammer thrower are going to take their position. So, Freddy, you're behind the two of them, unless you object. And Mercivus is going to hold it open until everyone is inside before entering in himself. I need to throw a map up. Give me just a second.
Gross.
Well,
Wait, there's gonna be a fight?
Would you imagine there's going to be a fight?
Whoa, hold on. I don't want to be in front. No, I'm just kidding.
So this map's going to be a little different because we're going to be dealing with some vertical surfaces here. There's a top view and a side view of this earthen cyst. Let me give you guys a little bit of flavor. As you guys push through in your marching order, you feel the outsides of the earthen cyst pull at you. It's almost the feeling of like gelatin sticking to your skin as it like holds on, and you're just able to get through with enough of that magic to... It almost pulls back like a rubber, as if it's stuck between earthen solid and a liquid form. This kind of rubber-like material as it kind of pulls away and you get through to the other side. On the inside of the earthen cyst, the cave is infused with a fantastic amount of elemental energy. Liquid stone floats in midair, some even casting a strange, dim green light. Stone columns and stalactites and stalagmites emerge from the floor and hang from the ceiling. Plateaus of stone jut from the ground or float in the air, and in some places are connected by a stone bridge. Bits of stone that seem to float together, forming these kind of walkways between the plateaus. Although there does not seem to be a direct way to get to the center plateau, stone bridges float in the air above the plateau. Atop this kind of central plateau, you see an individual, a humanoid, although their skin seems to be made of earth and dust. They have long priestly robes, heavy armored pauldrons at the side of it, a metal mask over the front of it, but their body left open, bare-chested, kind of robes hanging off the sides, more like a cape than an actual robe, standing with what appears to be a long obsidian rod. They have the codex placed on kind of a central column. Flanked on both sides, you see a familiar and unsettling face of stone-masked lightly green-skinned individuals standing perfectly still at attention on each side as this individual is opening the codex, flipping through its pages, looking around Jove, especially with the pass of 17. And since there's only so many places to look here, you can see below, down by the kind of river that runs through this, you see that Zorn, Fergus kind of shoved into what appears to be a bit of molded earth up above, forced to watch as this Zorn is picking up what appears to be tons of precious stones that litter the sides of the banks of this. In a series of 2 piles, you can see a number of what appears to be sailor-esque looking cult members who have just been absolutely ripped to shreds. Some showing appendages ripped off, others showing deep bludgeoning wounds, faces caved in, sternums shattered, as if there once was a good chunk of water cultists here, but the Zorn and those within have ended their lives. As you enter in, I'll have everybody roll me one last perception check.
Catchphrase.
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 Passive 12.
Passive 12.
Catchphrase.
Catchphrase.
17.
Passive 17. Jove, you can see off to the side a number of ledges that seem to go 5 and then 10 feet in the air, making for the shortest leap from ledges up to these stone platforms that seem to kind of bob and weave in the air, floating just out of height. You can feel the pressure of the kind of earthen elementals energy here, but also that rushing sensation of water, the blood from these former cultists kind of dripping and pooling into the water, being washed away as the Zorn continues to kind of pick up these precious stones and metals and shove it into their mouth. As you all kind of breach into this area and look up, there is kind of a pulse of green energy, and the whole cyst begins to shake and moan. This kind of low whoa. And we're going to end it a little bit early today and call it right there.
Oh.
Oh man, I'm gonna struggle waiting 2 weeks for this.
Evelyn, to answer your question, catchphrase is Jasper has very low wisdom and very low perception. And 9 out of 10 times, because of Kaya's dice and those abilities,
Yeah, I
the
was gonna say,
passive...
it's more of the fact that she has dice that hate her.
It's a combination of both those things. Her stats don't give her any help on that one.
Any help, yeah.
So her passive perception is a 9, which is not great. So there's many times that Kaya's dice will roll below that. So whenever it happens, there's no point in telling me what exactly she rolled. She just says catchphrase, and I know it's a passive 9 for perception. There you go.
Yep.
So, our lovely audience, we will be taking it'll be 2 weeks until our next session. Finals are upon us, and we have some players who need to take care of their business to get that master's and bachelor's degree. So, we will not be playing next week. You're welcome, Evelyn. But we will return 2 weeks from now to what I believe should be the ending act of Boltsmelter's book. Get to see...
Wait, if it wasn't, I don't know what I'd do.
I don't know either. I guess keep playing.
You
If you
know?
couldn't tell, I was tapped for 80% of that fight.
And it's been a real slog. 3 whole combats, and none of them easy. With another one right around the corner. So, we will return in 2 weeks for that one. Let us say goodnight to chat.
Good night,
night.
chat.
Nighty-night chat.
Good night, chat. Much love. Peace in the Middle West. I hopefully will see you all again 2 weeks from now to continue and see what the fuck is going on in this earthen cyst. Until then, nighty-night.